We are live from Alfa Romeo Maserati of Birmingham, as you can see right behind the boys on the couch there. I feel like I'm hosting a talk show.
That's an intimate
shop talk.
Yeah.
We've got Jim Dunaway from the Killers.
Hey, everybody.
Sean Henniger, who's doing an intimate evening with Sean Henniger tonight at Saul's.
I appreciate you doing it. It's a pre-show. Appreciate you guys having me for a pre-show.
Yeah, and Lance Taylor, the manager for these two groups.
I'm at the club tonight. The club. High top Red Mountain.
Are you now?
Yeah, they're rider. The things you guys asked for. Dunaway is not as high maintenance as Rocky.
Oh, Rockstar is high maintenance. My wife and I were discussing this, like the way to make money now because you're doing this tonight, right? You're at Saul's Juke Joint. Is that
Saul's
right?
Juke Joint.
Yeah, and you're solo.
I am solo, all by myself.
God almighty, how nervous are you?
I'm getting there.
Now, before you get there, sorry, Brown.
No, you're all good.
Interrupt you.
Well, this is the first time I have played. In 2022, I played at an engagement party 2 days before Christmas. This is the first time I've played in public in 2022.
Well, you're in demand.
Yeah.
Well,
It's been a good year.
What I was going to say is the way the musicians are making a lot of money now, or at least making more money on concerts, is they're doing like an evening with.
Yep.
Where you basically just do acoustic, maybe travel with a couple guys in the band, no drums.
Rocky's doing a GoFundMe.
Yeah. Maybe stop playing.
An evening with Rockstar tonight.
You do have NFTs.
You do have Venmo set up for tips, right?
I do. Those will trickle in every now and then. We'll get a couple. And there's always the smart ass kid that'll throw a nickel in the little bucket.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun.
That's why you need a gun, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wild West, he would have got shot.
That seems a bit over the top.
In Nashville, though, I was the girl that was playing. She would only do a request if you hit over $10 on Venmo more.
They do Nashville. We'll do Sweet Home Alabama, but it is required of a $30 tip or something like that. We'll do Wagon Wheel, but that's going to be at least $15. The ones that people nonstop
People
request.
pay for that.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing an Ask Us Anything like we did, what's that been, about a month or so ago?
Yeah, World of Wills.
Yeah, down
about
at
a
World
month
of
ago.
Wills. So we'll do it from our friends here, Maserati Alfa Romeo Birmingham.
Yeah, hey, stop by. Right now, Bo O'Neill, good friend of ours, Maseratis. You can finance on all new 2022 Maseratis, including the Ghiblis, the Levante, which I absolutely love. 1.99% financing on that. They've also got great pre-owned from Porsches. They've got Audis, BMWs, Mercedes, Lexus. Just come check out the lot today. Also, Alfa Romeo. Me and Dunaway are in the Stelvios right now. You can come get 1.9% financing on all Alfa Romeo 2022s as well. We're located Grants Mill Road, right off of 459.
I think we'll one of us will be in a Levante before our time together high atop the Blue Lake Center is over.
It's going to be
with.
me. You know it's going to be
You
me.
know it's going to be Rockstar.
Yeah.
One of us will be.
They got a, gosh, I forgot the way he described the blue today. They got a blue Levante in. It's got the black seats with the red stitching.
That's what you always like.
I personally, let's just say I was designing.
You like the red with the black stitching.
I like the volcanic black with the white leather seats.
So did you like, I was in that rental car that had the red leather. Did you like that?
So roommate's also driving a Stelvio. She's got they call it the, I didn't realize this, the Stormtrooper package. She's got the white Stelvio with the red interior with the black wheels. Well, think about a Stormtrooper.
What was red on the Stormtrooper?
Probably his guts.
His blood.
You don't have to worry about traffic accidents because they don't hit anything, the Stormtroopers. Good Star Wars joke to start for you guys.
All right, we got
It's got to
questions.
say shoot a lot
Yeah.
and never hit anybody.
They never hit their target.
First of all, William says, good evening, man. Love the show. Thank you so much, William.
That's awesome. William.
Thanks for being with us. We appreciate that. He's on YouTube. Zach asked, when does the podcast of the history of the show come out? We were talking about doing an oral history of the next round.
Can I go first?
Sure, Jim.
I think we come up with a lot of great plans, and we have a lot of things we like to call that are in the cylinder.
In the hopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of burners and there's a lot of stuff on the back of the back.
But I know what you're about to say, and you're not accurate on this one.
We are idea people. We come up with
No.
a lot of great ideas, and we execute them at a given time. But just because we come up with an idea doesn't mean that it's imminent. You know, like sometimes you may have an idea for a great album or a great movie. It may be 5 years before that song is released.
Conceptual right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, or
All
3 years before we start shooting that movie.
We've got to, just being point blank, and this isn't Ask Us Anything, there need to be some contractual things from our previous employer, our previous Cumulus contract. Anybody that's ever been in a contract knows that you've got some post-contractual obligations, and we need to let some of those pass before we do this. I mean, just to be 100% blunt with you, right?
But
We believe in honesty.
That's sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm thinking this thing will be out early July.
Yep, that's about right.
That's what I would say. I don't know about you guys.
Well, if we're going contractual, I mean, it'd have to be post July 13th, wouldn't it?
No, it's still early July. That's not quite mid-July. Mid-July.
Not quite mid-July.
All right,
Almost
all right.
mid-July.
But we've, you mentioned in the hopper, we've got things that we've already done that we're preparing to roll out.
Oh, okay. Well, that question's already come up, as you might imagine.
You're talking about the hot ones, Lance?
Yeah. Hang on. Let me just get the question up. Alan asked, Lance, when does the Hot Ones episode come out?
Well, Alan, what I didn't realize is how detailed the way we shot this was, I guess, kind of the way that Hot Ones actually shoots theirs with more than, I guess we had more than, the most we've ever used is 2 cameras, right? For anything we've done.
Yeah, Bama and Bourbon's a 2-camera shoot.
So did we go 3 or 4?
We went 4 cameras.
So there you go. So the good news is it is done. It is being edited right now. The bad news is with 4 cameras, it takes a lot longer. The process is more complex than I realized.
Yeah, there was there were a couple stages of editing. It is through stage 1. It's Scott Forrester, who is the absolute best in the business, is putting the finishing touches on it. I would imagine you'll have it pretty soon.
But imagine having a full-time job like Brownie and Scott did, and then having to do this on top of their full-time job. So half of it's done, and now Forrester.
Yes, Forrester's probably on his way to softball right now.
No, he left.
He's skipping stones and smoking cigarettes.
He left with the actual Hot One salsas today to do a little
cutaways.
Yeah, some cutaways there. So I think he's getting pretty close.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's going to look good. I love the fact that people are so invested in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, we have been asked about this more than most anything.
Well, even close friends of mine, how did it end up? How far do you guys make it? I won't give anything
Me
up.
too.
Nope.
Me too. I was on.
Got to watch it.
I was on a
Somebody might have had to be resuscitated. You never know.
That's what I said. You've seen us all on the show, so nobody's died. But I won't even tell people how it ended. Did we make it to level 5? Did one of us bail out at level 6, Lance, or did we all make it to the end? I didn't tell anybody that.
Let's see. Nick asked, was the car with red seats an Alfa Romeo? It was actually a Toyota Camry.
Yours?
Well, yeah, my rental car.
Yeah,
my rental car.
Are you not in it anymore?
I am not. I've got my actual vehicle back
okay.
now.
I guess I saw you pull it.
I was a complete, I don't know if I'm changing or what, but I was a complete smart A. And
you were an absolute ass by not telling me you were in a wreck.
And I did a video the minute I got my vehicle back, and I was going to text it to the next round text chain. And I decided not to. I was just going to do it to screw with you.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
That's fine. It's par for the course is what they say.
I mean, I think most of our listeners agree that if we are, in a band or on a team together, coaches together,
right,
that if one of us is in a traffic accident, you probably share it with the people that you go to work with every day.
Well, Lance didn't and I didn't.
Yeah.
So that's 50%.
I did forget.
I forgot.
No, I was with Dunaway. I thought it was kind of a big deal. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, I've been in a couple and I haven't said anything.
It wasn't even a big deal. It was a fender bender on 280.
I mean, if you were at home and you were chopping up, let's say onions, I know you don't like them.
Yep.
And you were using one of those Ginsus and you took your pinky off, do you think you call us?
No, I wouldn't call you, but I mean, I would get the medical attention first. And then I'll tell you what I would do with that one. I would probably shoot a photo of it and send it to the group text, to the next round group text.
Photo.
No, not of it wrapped. And then
I've always heard of people wrapping in a towel or paper towel. What I would do is I'd pick it up and I'd put it in the Ziploc, and then I would put it on ice. Doesn't that make more sense than putting it in a towel?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You would post it before you text it.
No, Dunaway would post it.
You'd have it on Instagram, on the gram, Snapchat.
You would. No, I would let it bleed out on Instagram. I'd do it live. But I remember when Twitter
fetish man loses toe.
Twitter first started, and I mean, it was right at the beginning of Twitter. Somebody called our show when it was Brown and me and said, I saw on Twitter. And I was like, what is Twitter?
Yep.
It was 2009. And I was like,
you call that the day of your awakening?
Yeah. What is
my eyes were open that day.
So of course I was joined by the end of the show. But Brown was very hesitant early on.
Yeah.
He was anti-social media.
Yeah. I got on it early and then didn't do much with it. And then I was on vacation when Lance joined. Back in the old round table.
Yeah, I think that was 2011 or 2012.
And I already had my account, and I thought, well, if Lance is going to be on it, I'll be on it too.
That's right.
It must be good for the show if Lance is going to do it. So that's when I joined full-fledged.
That was when you started to change your hairstyle and your clothing.
Oh, no.
I love it when he does stuff and laughs like he's kidding.
Oh, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Hey,
he did the old Uncle Elbow.
Did he do it to you?
The old Uncle Elbow.
Zach says there were red stormtroopers in ROTJ, Return of the Jedi, I guess is what that means, right?
I saw that one. That was the last one I saw. I didn't really like Return of the Jedi, but I don't remember a red stormtrooper.
I do. I think I remember that.
Disney is thinking about doing some Star Wars stuff, so you need to stay tuned. If you don't have Disney Plus,
have you guys introduced your kids? I know you haven't, Rocky.
Yeah, not yet.
To Star Wars.
I've never even watched Star Wars, much less my kids.
You introduced them to The Godfather yet?
No.
Because we know they won't watch 3, right?
Yeah,
and that's the end of the story.
I don't want to punish them. I tell you what, my oldest and I are about to do. They're studying World War II in history, and they watched one episode of Band of Brothers. It was either Band of Brothers or part of Saving Private Ryan they watched, but they didn't watch the whole thing. And she wants to watch Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers with me. So I'm very excited about that, actually.
Throw the Pacific in, though. I thought it was well done.
I didn't like it as much.
Yeah,
the sequel to Band of Brothers, basically. Yeah, I didn't like it as much. But here's a weird thing. I've studied a lot of World War II, and I'm always more fascinated with the European theater versus the Asian theater.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But the European theater has always fascinated me more.
So Letters from Iwo Jima, who Clint Eastwood did, and Flags of Our Father. Letters from Iwo Jima is much better.
Flags of Our Father is a really good book. I know you're talking about the movie, but it's a really good book, Flags of Our Father, if you've never read that.
Would you be surprised to learn we lost more soldiers in the Pacific than we did in the
No, it was brutal in the Pacific because the Japanese people felt as though they were supposed to fight till death.
Right.
There was no surrender. And in fact, even on some of the islands,
now, I don't know if that's true or not. So don't take that as fact.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
If we lost more people,
the only reason I would say that
I know the body count was very high, taking just one island.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you another thing you had was even well after the surrender of the Japanese army to end the war, there were some Japanese on the island, some Japanese soldiers that were entrenched, and they had no idea they had surrendered, and they thought they were supposed to fight to death. Oh, yeah.
For years.
I mean, they'd pop up out of the ground and kill somebody.
Yeah. Like there was reports of that, like even almost to 1950, I think.
Yeah, and that was one reason that was such a, once the surrender happened in the European theater, everybody laid down arms. It did not happen in the Japanese theater.
You think we'll have somebody pop out here with a mask in about 3 or 4 years?
Is the pandemic over?
Like a COVID mask.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know where that was going.
Tell your daughter to slow play reading about World War II in case number 3 breaks out here. That one becomes a lot less important, and she can just watch the local news.
You're gonna get to live.
That one in higher def.
Yeah.
LT, this is a question for you from Jeff B. Did you get the Alfa Romeo pee in a cup version? You did pee in your Alfa Romeo.
I did, yeah. So I've had the Alfa Romeo since last February.
And that brings up this great point right here. Right now, they accept Maserati models and Alfa Romeo here that are still covered under the new vehicle warranty period of 4 years, 50,000 miles, or 1 pee in a cup. So 2 peas in a cup, and you could not still get warranty on it. But LT only pissed in it one time, so the warranty's still good.
Put that lid back on and the straw in.
I'm not the only person to do that. You guys have done it before.
I've never peed in the car.
Oh, I've done it, but not
never peed in the car.
Never.
Not in a mostly in my old school jalopies growing up, not an Alfa Romeo.
I think I've done about everything you can do in a car except for a deuce.
Well, speaking of that, have you dug a hole?
Okay, I haven't dug a hole. I've run into a hole.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah.
I had an awakening. Talk about number 2. I had my awakening. I've had bathroom problems my whole life, and back in the day in middle school and elementary school, I would never go in public. I'd have to go home.
Middle school, I'm still almost that way now.
So you would not play a road game even that early.
Even if my stomach was falling out, I would have to get home.
Now, even as an adult, man, I am all about the home game.
I am too, but I mean, sometimes there's, and you have totally changed these. You go to gas stations now.
I'm telling you, when I opened the floodgates, literally we were on a family trip. I was a sophomore in high school, and we were going to Pensacola or Panama City, something like that. We were on 65, and there was a standstill. Nobody was moving, and they found out there was a really horrific accident like 2 miles up the road. And so people were just getting out of their cars and walking. They're walking around because there was no movement. And so that's when my stomach started gurgling. And I was like, I got to go. And my dad was like, we are nowhere near an exit. I'm sorry. And so I was like, that's when I'd take the trot to the woods in the
we didn't dig a hole though.
By the interstate. No, but like just knowing like that was the time where like I just went in the woods badly. And so I can do gas station bathrooms now. I can do anything. I can in the heat. I mean, that was the day that changed my life.
After you did it in Kay Ivy's
Yeah,
bathroom, you
yeah.
were like, "Hey, no problem."
Well, the mom always
Did
said,
you
if you're
guys-
not supposed to say something nice, then all you need to keep your mouth shut.
You guys ever on the beach, like when the water's like freezing, like spring break back in the day? You know, when they would do spring break like the last week of February, the first week of March, and the water's probably 60 degrees. It's impossible to get in. But you're drinking beer all day on the beach. I would dig a hole and just lay flat, stomach down, and pee in the hole. Have y'all ever done that?
I've never
Nope.
done.
Nope.
Up on the beach, you would do that?
Yeah.
Like you guys are laying out right here, like right over there. You just dig a hole.
You dig a hole and just,
It's like,
yeah.
Lance looks like a cat.
Yeah. You're the worst guy to build a sandcastle with.
You may have a piss problem.
But, you know, I mean, the thing is, so we've all peed in our bathing suits, right? I mean, that's just part of it.
Yes.
100%.
So that
Not
I
in a-
just, I
not
mentally
in a
got
pool,
it.
though.
Like
Not
I've
in a
never
pool.
peed through my shorts, but I have peed through my bathing suit into a hole.
Yeah, Dunaway does not believe you pee in the pool. I think he's lying
He's
about that
lying.
at some point.
Oh, I
He's peed in the
swear to
pool.
goodness, you do not pee in a pool.
You've never done it.
No, and you don't.
Dunaway.
Speaking
You
of
don't
which,
do it.
speaking of peeing, does anybody? I have not. We don't ask everybody. Does anybody use the escape hatch in your underwear?
Like in the front?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm using it right now.
No, like I mean, I like this conversation.
Yes, you are.
I always
What
pull,
do you pull them down?
I pull them down.
I do too. I never use that.
I've never.
yeah.
I was never even taught to do that. Like I've never seen somebody just
Yeah.
like go through
No.
that flap.
Well, that way you don't have to open your pants.
Well, did
just
you
go
ever
with
have
zipper.
the LL Bean red pajamas? Did you shit through the flap? Did you take that?
No,
down?
but every pair of underwear you have has that little escape move.
Yeah,
like,
I've
and
never used that.
used it.
Yeah, I've always used that.
Me either.
Wow.
I don't use it anymore, and I unbuckle my pants now too. It's not just a zipper because the pants are tighter now
I
than they
do.
used to be.
That's got to be a poll question because I think you're in a
Yeah.
minor or major minority, I should say.
Yeah.
So you don't even unbuckle your pants. You just
Uh-uh.
do the zipper.
Yeah.
And then go through. Wow, that's insane.
Why is that insane? I
I
think that's the
think
way
you're-
most.
You're
Do
you're
you-
a rarity. I've never met somebody like
Do you hold or do you go hands free over the
He
urinal?
puts his hands on his head.
lean against the wall.
Do you sit towards the wall when you're going number 2, or do you sit
No,
towards
no,
the
yeah,
front?
away from the wall.
See, I do the spider.
Spider.
So I can have something. I have a dinner
What do
tray
you, what,
to
wait,
put my
wait, what do you
steak
mean
on.
about this? I try to learn.
No,
Is it-
like so, like we have the urinals in our office. So if you sit towards the wall, you can put your chin on there and relax.
Do
I'm
not.
kidding.
It's cleaner.
I thought I was doing it backwards all these years.
LT, I'm sure they love this. Tell them about Alfa Romeo Maserati.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
what
in
is that sweatshirt?
One of the night, I got it for Jack. It's a
Oh.
Maserati sweatshirt.
Oh, that is
Feel that
cool
material.
sweatshirt.
Now, the
Alright,
thing
yeah.
about Italian clothing, and you guys know this Euro stuff,
athletic fit.
it's really, really tight. So this
Yeah.
is a large. I don't know if it's going to fit him. We're going to give it a shot. So we'll see if it works. But right now, you can drop by Maserati and Alfa Romeo of Birmingham, and you can take advantage of great financing right now, 1.9% on all 2022 models of the Maseratis and the Alfa Romeos. You can also come check out their premium high-end used pre-owned selection, Porsches, the Lexus, the Range Rovers. They've got Audis, Mercedes, and much more. Come see Bo, this great staff. You're going to love it out here right off of 459 and the Grants Mill exit.
Brownie, so did you send out hashtags of Alfa Romeo or Maserati when you sent us
I
out?
did not. Thank goodness.
Thank God.
Yes, no, I did not.
I mean, it would be horrible if
Yeah.
somebody's watching us in Italy right now. Well, they're sitting in front of the Maserati logo talking about
How they pee.
peeing and pooping.
All right. Andrew asked on YouTube, what is the backstory on calling her "quote unquote" the roommate?
So there are people that get a little upset about this. Dunaway, I think you were with me on the Saturday night before the national championship. We were at the media hotel, and this really nice couple came up and they said, "I think it's really disrespectful. You call her the roommate."
Brother and sister, yep.
And I said, "Look, I don't. It's what it. I mean, we date, but she lives with me, so she is the roommate, right? I mean, technically,
Well, it
Yep.
bothers my wife to no end.
Really? Maggie
Pastor
doesn't like
Maggie,
it?
Yes. It must be offensive in Britain.
I don't know what's
It's a
offensive
flatmate.
about
Yeah.
it,
She shares a flat.
Yeah.
but it's a legitimate relationship, you
Yeah.
know, and she's my roommate.
Andrew.
Ma-
Oh, wait a
Maggie,
minute, wait.
Maggie's ready for you to put a ring on it. She's
Mm.
hoping you ask her to do the service.
Oh, please do it.
Well, you would ask Maggie if you got married again. You'd let Maggie do the
No,
service,
that's a
wouldn't you?
lot of pressure, man.
That's that pressure. She does it all the time. She did one the other day.
Well,
does,
okay,
but-
so Herb is ordained.
That's right. Herb's
That's right,
in front of
Herb.
Maggie.
Our friend Clay Travis is ordained.
Tony Curry.
Tony Curry.
Is Tony? I didn't know Tony.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
they used to do him at the bowling alley.
Can Maggie do the homily then?
if you explain what that is,
Like a little short story.
Yeah.
from the Bible. It'd be just a little religious thing. Yeah, Tony used to do the mass wedding at Jitterbugs or whatever on Valentine's Day, didn't he?
It was at Lightning Strikes. He did his couple of Lightning
Oh,
Strikes
did
at
he? Yeah. I could-
Trustville.
What was the average, the over under on the marriage?
well, yeah, less than 2 years, I would say.
More annulments than
Yeah,
have stayed
yeah,
intact.
Did he go like repeat after me? Clean up on aisle 4.
He did it live on the air. I remember one time I randomly was listening to it. It was on Valentine's Day on the old Rock 99.5. And he was, I want to say he was at Jitterbugs. Was that the one down the hill from the old radio station? Yeah. He was at Jitterbugs and was on the mic and was doing it, for I don't know how many people were there, but I remember listening to the ceremony. This years
Was it
ago.
romantic?
Oh, I mean,
Do you have to ask? Obviously, it
yes,
was.
I don't think that is the question, Lance.
You may kiss your bride and tip your waitress,
No.
or kiss your waitress.
What
and
kind of
tip
Tip
your
your
bride?
bride.
What kind of debauchery was going on in that rat hole hotel?
There's no telling. Riley
You get
asked,
married at Jitterbugs, you do the honeymoon upstairs.
yeah, well, yeah, I think if you're gonna,
Hey, that's where a good friend of ours met his ex-wife. Honestly,
Wow.
and I can tell you guys, you probably could guess. He is not from Birmingham, but he met her at Jitterbugs, and he decided to move to Birmingham to actually get married.
and then they got divorced.
Yeah.
Do you still live here?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, you guys know him extremely well. I just wonder how many relationships that were actually conceived.
Consummated?
I know of one that was lost there.
Oh,
I
there's
bet
more.
there's been a bunch.
There's more than one that was lost
A
in
guy
Jitterbugs.
found out his wife was having an affair.
Oh,
That's
a
where
shocker.
they would meet.
So phone tag.
The consistent hotel meeting, the same place over and over, is probably a bad move.
Well, I mean, especially now in the technology age.
Yeah, I've never had an affair before, but
So Dunaway, this
seems
is
like you shouldn't have to keep going back to the same place.
I would tend to agree.
a little before our time, but did you ever do the phone tag?
I don't know what that means.
So you don't
Oh,
remember
it
they would have
oh,
they,
yeah,
they would
yeah.
have a phone on your table and you'd come in with your
I
buddies
never did that.
and then there would be numbers and you could just pick it up at speed dial table 17.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I wasn't socially awkward, and I did not have talking game like you.
Talking
I did.
Can you believe he doesn't have it? Riley asked, how do we submit our t-shirt ideas? He posted his on Twitter. It's on the website, right?
Yeah, just go to nextroundlive.com, submit it. We're going to have multiple winners. We're going to do this for a while. I mean, it's from our friends at New Life Art.
But first winner coming soon. We're going to give away
Yeah.
a winner soon and keep the contest rolling.
I mean, we've got to have a really good submission. We've had some decent submissions, right?
Some decent submissions.
Some
not
decent
some not so
submissions.
decent of
Yeah.
submissions, but it's a lot harder than you think.
You haven't seen one yet that will go to Prince. What you're saying?
I personally
I
haven't.
have not. Lunsford's going to sees a lot of them, and so I don't have access to the view what the designs are, but the ones I have seen are just.
I mean, it's hard to come up with things. Like, how long do you think it took Maserati to come up with the Trident? I mean,
I
that's
don't
a
know, but
great
that is
logo.
iconic.
It
yeah.
really is. And Alfa Romeo is the little snake with the, I guess it's some sort of cross, right?
Yeah.
It is.
That's a cool one too.
the Italian cross.
Andrew asked on YouTube, Dunaway, are you wearing Phil Gallman cookie socks?
Nope. These are pineapples.
That's a sign.
Oh, Dunaway.
Yeah.
You and
They're-
Maggie?
They're upside down. So if you're into those kind of things,
Pastor
let me
Maggie.
know.
Yeah.
Pastor Maggie.
yeah, these are pineapple socks.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, they were given to me by a nice couple in Greystone.
Do they have a red door? Isn't that the urban legend? If the door, if the front door is painted a certain color, the family's down.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
I
problem.
mean,
'cause,
all you can do is find out by knocking, right?
Nancy's rental house was a red door.
Sorry,
Well,
I had
I'm
my-
not saying 100% it's red Rockstar, but I've heard that. I think it's that color, but I've heard that in certain neighborhoods where it's prevalent, and there is one that I've heard it's really prevalent, and you guys have heard the same rumor, that the color of the door is the tip of the,
Yeah.
yes, so to speak. I have definitely heard that. I don't know if it's true or not, obviously.
if you're scoring at home, Maggie and I are not pineapple upside down people.
But we're willing to learn.
That's good.
That's me. I gotta go.
Rockstar's car is ready.
My medicine's
A lot of
in.
people are saying Band of Brothers is awesome. Andrew says Ryan Brown, the next round historian. I'm really not, but I have studied a lot about World War II. I've read a lot of books about that.
I'm okay to let you be the historian.
So how true is the man in the high castle?
Boy, I had to give that one up, Rockstar. It just got crazy, man.
What about 1941 with John Belushi? Was that pretty accurate?
Jeff B says Unbroken is an awesome movie that is a true story. I've never seen Unbroken.
I
I've
heard-
seen it. Angelina Jolie directed it.
Heard
Oh,
it's really cheesy.
Oh,
Well, it's just like one bad thing happens after another to this guy. It's like there's no way.
It was right after.
Was it Dunaway's life story?
Yeah.
Is it right after? It's the one right after The Sixth Sense that starts with the train wreck.
No, that is
Unbreakable.
yeah, that's Unbreakable.
Oh, Unbreakable.
Unbroken is the guy that is in World War II. He's a pilot and he gets shot down. He survives, and two of his mates, like I've seen it a long time ago, but they have to survive in a life raft for like 60 days, and then they get captured, and he gets released, and he gets recaptured. I mean, it's just like everything bad happens to this guy, and he goes through it unbroken.
And Broke is just the documentary on Evander Holyfield, right?
And Andre Rison.
So at the end of Unbroken, is it a happy ending?
Yeah,
Decapitation.
well, he's unbroken. He doesn't
Yeah.
get broken.
he finds religion.
Volfan 205. What are the plans for the show in the future to grow? Other states, additional shows to fill out the day? What are the plans?
Oh, it's a great question.
Yeah, it really is. We've had multiple discussions with.
Yeah.
We've got ideas. We're idea guys.
We're
so-
idea people. Yeah.
We'd rather not comment at this time until after July 13th, but we do have something big coming.
I think we've got a couple of big things coming.
couple big things coming after July 13th. Write that down.
Write that date down. Andrew says he had to pee in a cup in his car today.
Ooh, I'd like to
man,
know the backstory on that.
It's a good day, Andrew. It's a good day. That's what Jim Valvano said, right? If you could laugh, cry, pee in a cup, that's a good day.
His quotes mixed
He
up.
didn't include that one.
I don't remember that part. This is an interesting question. Trip asked on YouTube, have you guys considered having your show's pre-production meeting on camera as an actual lead into the show? It would be cool to see how you guys structure the show and come up with ideas.
I think
Well,
you're seeing it in
fun-
segment one.
Funny thing is, we don't do a pre-production. It's all ad lib for 4 hours. So you're seeing it every day for 4 hours.
As long as we can stay in that room and do the 4 hours instead of going to the studio.
Yeah.
I'm still
Um,
thawing out.
we don't do a pre-show. We
I
don't.
think people are surprised. I know people are surprised at
Yeah.
that. I get it all the time. They're surprised at that question.
The most pre-production we do is Forrester will tell Rockstar what the cuts are for the show, the sound you hear. Rockstar will print it for me and bring it to me. Occasionally, LT will text me and says he has 3 and out, or I have 3 and out. Or Brown or LT will say, hey, I'd like to talk about this today. And we don't talk about it. I just write down basically the headline. I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
And occasionally you'll notice on the show, and this is nobody's fault, but this is just the way we do it, is Dunaway will hear Lance say it one way, and and you'll write it down, and
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
start in, and Lance says, well, really what I wanted to say was
Yeah.
this. That's why that happens.
My favorite one, I think, was Monday when anybody have anything they really want to talk about. And, we got our normal stuff we're going to talk about. So they know I'm going to talk about all the high points
Right.
of the weekend.
Yeah, we don't have to come in and say, oh, I really want to talk about Alabama's basketball loss last
Exactly.
night, or Auburn winning the
So the
SEC.
basics are there.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. But my favorite is nobody has anything. And then I'm like, I forget sometimes that some things rub people the wrong way. And I'll be like, all right, so we're back for a break. We do a spot. And I'm like, all right, man. So the Packers say they are Aaron Rodgers.
This
They
guy.
are not going to trade Aaron Rodgers. And LT says the last thing I want to talk about is Aaron Rodgers. So I looked at my clock and I said, all right, 3 hours and 50 more minutes and we're good. if we can connect 3 hours and 50 minutes of that.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. So I have to scratch off Aaron Rodgers. Do not ask about Aaron Rodgers.
Let's say, oh boy, when we do these, because we stop and answer questions, we get a little bit behind in the conversation. So this is going to be a lot about whether people pull down their pants or not. Take a whiz. John Lunsford from the back row says, if you have a zipper on the pants, you always pull through. If you have to pull the pants down, you pull the underwear down too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100%.
But I do have a zipper on my pants
Nick
that
doesn't.
I unsnap at the top.
So
and
do I.
pull things down, but I don't
I don't
I don't bare ass it. We'll say it that way.
I've worked with people that bare assed it at the urinals. Really?
No, I
Yeah.
cup my boxers under my junk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I bring everything
Yeah,
out.
I'm
Yeah.
full frontal.
Yeah, exactly. But my
But
backside,
if you come in the back, you're not gonna be like, oh my god.
Well, no,
this
that
is
happened-
this.
that
there's no
happened to
half moon. Yeah.
we
I might start doing that just for shock.
No, we did have a coworker
it
yes.
jocks.
No.
that pulled
Yes,
down
yes. No, listen.
mid thigh.
It jocks. We had this guy, and he was a big guy.
Yeah.
Now he has since had one of those stomach bypasses and lost a lot of weight. But he was.
If you eat a cheeseburger on that, kill you.
You know what is bad for you is lettuce. Like when you have that and you eat lettuce, it just I mean, it will like instantly clean you out. Is what I've heard. How big do you think he was before the gastric bypass?
I have
Big,
no
and
idea
he
who we're
drove a
talking
small car.
$5.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Did the guy used to drive a van too?
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. $5.
Oh,
yeah.
So he would always wear like these stretchy waistband pants.
Right.
And I don't think there was a zipper on them. They were
No.
basically glorified sweatpants. That's what he would wear to work every day. So one day I walk in the bathroom and he's standing at the urinal with those pants pulled down around his knees, and all you can see, I would say 500-pound man's bare butt. I mean, that's
Right.
all you can see when you walk in the bathroom. And I was so
From your
Take him back.
vantage point, could you have hit it with a dart?
I could not have missed it.
Left-handed.
Yes,
I
with my
think I
eyes
wa-
closed.
I think I walked in behind Brown too. There
Shocker.
There were
Well, we were in a break.
there were 400 Russian troops stalled on the backside of it, and I could see it from Google Earth.
I mean, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. In a urinal?
Yeah,
You can't use a stall for that?
yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, it was
that.
rough,
I
man.
remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Script A says he never uses the underwear flap.
I
Jeff
don't
B
think
says
people do.
he thought the flap was for storing change.
Yeah. I'm not even
Got a
sure.
roll of quarters.
I'm not even sure they put them on most underwear anymore.
They do. It's on every. Like,
That's on
like,
every
Wait,
single
I use
boxer brief.
sacks now. Is it in the sacks?
It's on there, but it's a different
cut.
the way it's cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've got one athletic pair that's sort of a hole at the top. Just it folds out. And
Oh, I don't like
I
that.
think
No,
those are
bring it
called-
up the top.
I
I
cannot
think
use
those are called
those.
panties.
Kevin is on YouTube. He loves the show, the new format. Us having control is so much better. We agree with you 100%. What do you consider a really good album that was underappreciated?
Was underappreciated.
That's what he says.
How about Foreigner 4? I told you Foreigner's one of my. No, they're a guilty pleasure of mine. There was so many hits on that.
Foreigner 4.
Jukebox Hero, Urge It, Waiting for a Girl Like You.
Okay.
What was on Foreigner 4? What else?
Underappreciated though. Was that album really underappreciated?
I don't know if it was underappreciated. I just think most people think Foreigner's really, really cheesy.
7 Mary 3 American Standard, as bad as it was, everybody thought the one hit wonder with Cumbersome. That was a great album, and their follow up Rock Crown was a really, really good album. Counting Crows, Recovering the Satellites, their second album.
What else on that one?
Recovering the Satellites.
Yeah.
Have You Seen Me Lately? Goodnight Elizabeth. Mercury. Angels of the Silences.
Are Counting Crows still together?
He shaved. He got rid of the wig.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. So if you see Adam Duritz now,
You don't even recognize him?
no.
I'd like to see them in concert. Do they
gotta-
travel any?
They don't. Yes, but they don't appease to people anymore. They play a lot of the
They jam band?
not jam band. They kind of rearranged Mr. Jones because they've been playing it since
Oh,
1994.
see, I hate that.
So
Yeah.
it's not like the one you hear on the radio, but it's like they're still doing it. But it's just like, hey, let's rearrange it a little bit to
Do
make
they
it a little
do they
fresh.
still pave Paradise to put up a parking lot?
I never liked that song. Not even the original. I will see it, Lou. See if I can find the original.
I like all three of you on your phone over there.
See if there's anything I can talk to.
Shabu Shaba, NXS was one of my favorites as a kid. I was a
You've
big
always liked
guy.
NXS, haven't you? Yeah.
They're great.
And it was one of their early albums, and it was really the first time they had hits. And it has a Whippet on the cover.
One of my neighbors,
Which is, by the way, the entire Greyhound family.
the dog, you're right. Yeah. One of my neighbors drives to the bus stop. The bus stop's right in front of my house, and we just walk out with my daughter. One of my neighbors drives up, and sometimes just to mess around with the kids, he'll turn his music up in his truck, and the kids will dance and have fun. And he was playing Tears for Fears the other day. They had a unique sound, didn't they?
They just released a new album. First
Did
time.
they really?
Yeah, they're back together, looking really old, but
Well, I would
actually
imagine.
it's a good song. I
Yeah.
just heard it yesterday on 80s on 8. They premiered it. It's a good song. I like me some Tears for Fears.
Yeah, I think they've got a unique sound. Lance, we are at the Alfa Romeo Maserati of Birmingham here on the Grants Mill exit, I-459.
Yeah, and right now 1.9% financing on all new 2022 Maseratis, the Ghiblis, the Levantes, also the Alfa Romeos, the Stelvios. Come by, check it out. We are right off of Grants Mill Road, as you said, 459, that exit. Come see some of the pre-owned that they've got from the Lexus, Mercedes, Porsche, Land Rovers, BMWs, Audis, and more. Come see Bo and this great staff, Maserati and Alfa Romeo of Birmingham.
Are you telling me to promote this for tomorrow?
No, that's Adam Duritz.
I thought it was the guy that's coming on the show tomorrow.
Adam
It
They
looks,
look alike,
it
yeah.
looks like Adam Richmond, too. Yeah.
You sure that's not Adam Richmond?
I am positive that is Adam Duritz.
Let me
Don't
see.
you think that looks like Adam
Lead
Richmond?
singer Counting Crows. He cut his hair.
I mean, I
Shaved.
see. If you would have just, I would have
you
said Adam
serious? That's
Richmond.
him?
Now that
Yeah.
you say it, I see it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know he cut his hair.
Boy,
Last time I
looks-
saw him in concert, he still had the hair.
I always thought he had dreads.
It was. I don't think they were real.
Well, so we could
Oh,
tease
wow.
that now because I thought Rockstar wanted me to tease that. But
Boy, I would go Dangerous Morgan Wallen. You know, he
Yeah.
released this unbelievable country album that may be one of the best country albums of all time. Then has his incident,
Yeah,
drunk
some
night
issues.
in
Yep,
Nashville.
yep.
Got canceled for a little bit. He's battled back, and he and Eric Church are going to do a date together in Minneapolis, your town. A one-night show in Minneapolis quickly sold out at the football stadium there. But that a country album, if you like a good country album, that is that's unbelievable. Didn't get a lot of play because of his incident.
So Adam Richmond's on the show tomorrow for those that like Man versus Food.
Man versus Food, the original guy. He's got a new show on History Channel called Adam Eats the 80s.
Yep.
And he's going to be on with us tomorrow at 10:25 via Zoom. He's to promote that show. But also, I didn't know he was behind. I know, Lance, you watched I don't know if you watched the second season. He's behind the fast food that built America. He's one of the producers.
I've
on
watched some of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they show the building of Hershey, McDonald's, KFC, and Pizza Hut, and how he came up with Heinz ketchup, how that came up with Heinz, and that's a fantastic documentary. They
I was
did.
studying for that interview a little bit today. He's a Yale graduate.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
A
smart
former
dude,
actor
huh?
too.
Yeah, I knew that. He was on a bunch of soap operas, but a Yale grad.
And the show now about foods from the 80s.
He's gonna have to explain it, but it's Adam Eats the 80s. I don't know if he just eats. I think he goes back and I saw a little bit.
Oh, like okay, so
they premiered it last Sunday.
So the one I saw where he recreated, I think it was Domino's, had a breakfast pizza. So he
Yeah.
got them to recreate that breakfast pizza, and he went back and ate the pizza.
Oh wow!
And
I think there's still some brands that aren't around. Like the was it Amos and Otis cookies or Amos and Andy cookies?
Amos,
Amos and Andy was the old TV show.
famous Amos.
Famous
Amos, yeah.
yeah,
Those I used to see those bags of cookies and I
Yep.
couldn't get them because they were expensive back
They were
in the day.
so good.
They were expensive.
I think they were compared to
Well, if
know
it
some
was
of the
at-
crap that you could get.
But if you were at the vending machine, a bag of famous Amos was probably like $1.50.
But do they even make them anymore?
I don't know.
But that was one of the
But,
80s
yeah,
brands that was
so-
really popular.
some of the stuff that's out, but he is going back like, you know, the way, you know, Pepsi was made in the 80s. We changed whatever we had in
Cereal back in the 80s was
Yeah.
100% sugar. It was awesome.
like
Not
he
anymore.
went to a McDonald's and got him to fry the McDonald's fries, because remember in the 80s we changed the oil.
They went to peanut oil,
went to
right?
peanut oil, and we used to
Or
fry
away
these-
from peanut oil, whichever one.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
Whichever oil we switched in the 80s for McDonald's. So he's gone back to have them.
I'd love to do a taste test right now.
Yeah.
Well, if you've ever watched 11/22/63, I don't know if it's the time
Yeah, I
travel
saw it.
thing. One of the things where he travels back in time to prevent the assassination of Kennedy. But the guy that tells him when he goes back in time, he said, "What should I What should I worry about?" One thing is, all the food is going to taste amazing to you because there's no restrictions. Everything is just fat and lard and sugar. And he's like, even like an apple pie is going to be so much different because it's not chock full of preservatives. as
Which
it
I'm
is
a
now.
little surprised because our food's so unhealthy now to begin with.
It is, but there's not. Imagine there was no regulations back then. None.
Yeah. But I wonder if it's unhealthy now because of all the preservatives we put into it to make it cheaper to
Yeah.
make. You know what I
That's-
mean?
yeah,
And to last
potentially.
longer.
Do you guys remember it wasn't Pepsi free? It was the clear Pepsi that was
Yeah.
Crystal?
Crystal
Crystal Pepsi. Yeah.
Yep. Didn't last long. Was that playing off Clearly Canadian? Were they trying
I
to?
don't know. But then Saturday Night Live did the Crystal Gravy.
Oh, I do
And
remember
they just
that.
poured on
Yeah.
mashed potatoes.
Was Chris Farley in it?
It was a commercial. It was great.
Yeah. Zach asked, speaking of Tone the Bone, when is he coming on the show? It needs to be LT's next behind the curtain guest.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Our last call, I think, is what Zach's talking about. Yeah,
no,
we could do Tone the Bone.
I hadn't even thought about that. Love
Well,
to.
he came up. We've got another idea we're working on. We're idea people that I'm really excited about that involves Rockstar primarily, and he was mentioned for that one too.
We could probably knock both of them out.
Yeah, just do both.
There we go.
You probably need to get him first, though, because I'll get him drunk. So
I might want to have him second then. That's fine having him
that,
second.
that might be better.
How does Tony talk? Rob?
Go Blazers. Oh, Blazers.
Andrew on YouTube asked, will Feinbaum make a return, or is there Jock's red tape there?
I would say Cumulus probably would frown upon that right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Paul's always been a little bit of a maverick and has never really cared about corporate structures. So I don't know.
Yeah. Should be noted though that we never had Paul really on our show because we were on the same air with him.
'Cause
Until
we
we
went to
started in the mornings.
Yeah.
And then our friends at Craneworks and Paul
Yeah.
have a great relationship. So absolutely. If our friends at Craneworks wanted Paul back on the show and Paul wanted to do it, we'd love to have Paul on.
I will say this though, Paul has always been very supportive of us and very encouraging and kind to us. We've never, had, to my knowledge, had a bad relationship with Paul. I've always thought we had a fantastic relationship. And in fact, when we were considering doing this, kind of word, I don't know, Paul called me one time and we talked about it, and he was very encouraging.
Yep. One of the first people at SEC Media Days when we were doing a setup a lot like this with less plans. Had more plans.
No, we had more
there.
plans out there.
Yeah. He was one of the first people to walk over in person and say hi to us, and appreciated that a lot. And I would say there when you see the behind the music version of the round table turn next round,
Paul will make an appearance.
Paul will have a very big chapter or two in it.
Yes.
Oh, he really will.
Yes. There was that 2011?
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Paul makes an appearance in the history of our show that is a integral appearance.
It was
I'll just say
AFC
it that way.
NFC Championship week. I thought it was 2012. I guess it was 2011.
2011 is when we.
I
was
think it's right. It's 2012.
It was 2012
Yep.
because it's 2011 football national championship.
That's right. That's where a lot of it had blown up, was when we were
Yep.
coming back from New Orleans.
Yeah, when we technically got what was known as free to negotiate, was leaving New Orleans.
I mean, leverage is the word I think you're looking for,
Yeah.
right? Leverage was leverage showed up on the Pontchartrain Bridge or whatever bridge that was we were on. Yeah, we'll put that in the old behind the scenes.
I remember doing one of these.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, here we go. Oh, Cheney.
And then 10 years later, finally.
Cheney says there are ladies here, guys. I think that was in reference to us talking about the boxer shorts.
I said panties.
You did say panties. That's true in relation to Dunaway. Oh, here's a good one. Lance and Dunaway's worst beat gambling. He said, my new one came, and see if you can remember this. Oh, I do remember this. My new one came this year with Florida State and Clemson. I remember I was watching that game when that happened.
Yeah, see, I had the other side of that. I had Florida State.
That was a brutal beat.
Yeah.
My worst.
Or I had Clemson. Whoever covered.
Clemson covered, right? Because Florida State was trying to do the throw around to score at the end, and Clemson scooped and scored.
And they
no time on the clock.
I think they reviewed it, or they didn't flash the score final yet, and so they thought it was going to review.
Yeah, and
then
they just
the next
walked
thing you
off,
know,
right?
Yeah, they walked off.
Yeah, that was a bad beat. I was watching that.
Financially speaking, the most money I ever lost was on Kansas basketball at Indiana. When I'd lost all day Saturday in college football, I doubled up. That's what led to me losing my Toyota Tercel. But per capita, I lost a Super Bowl when I was like 5th grade, and I'd bet everybody and their mama a quarter on the Cowboys, and the Steelers won, and I had to borrow quarters from my nanny to pay it off. But I didn't have a Toyota Tercel for anybody to take back then. But as far as a heartbreaking loss for me, was a stake bet. I think we had fake officials then, and it was the Hail Mary, the
Green Bay and
Seahawks,
Seattle.
the Seahawks Hail Mary.
I was watching it. Cafe Forenza.
Of course, you had that game.
And that Hail Mary horrible called game play cost me a stake.
I've got some friends that are NFL officials. There's a funny story behind that. And apparently the group of officials that were part of the officials union, right? They were up in New York doing the negotiating, were out to dinner when that happened. And they had been negotiating back and forth the NFL all day, and they were getting close to a settlement, and word had gotten out that they were getting close to a settlement. And that play happened, and apparently they're at dinner and all their phones start blowing up. And they answer it, and they're like, whatever you do, do not settle. We have got the upper hand now because they have just screwed up a Monday Night Football game.
That was
so we're going to get anything we
an
want.
Amazing call. But that was just over a stake. Man, I had a situation in college. We went on a bad run. And I remember it came down to a Monday night. I had a huge turn, and I never play turns anymore. So basically, if you don't know what a turn is, I'll make it in simple terms. You have to hit both sides. If you put $100 on it and you win both sides, you win 4-1 your bet. So you win $400. If you lose one side, you lose double your bet, double your juice. So you'd lose 140 or 120. But if you lose both sides of the bet, you lose double your bet and double juice. You'd lose $240. Yeah, I think that's right. Hadn't played a tournament forever. So I was in a major hole, and it was Kansas City against San Diego, the Chargers, on a Monday night game. And I was catching 5.5 points. And San Diego pretty much led the entire game. I think Stan Humphries was quarterback. somehow KC goes on this ridiculous drive to end the game. I think Joe Montana was the quarterback then. They go down, they tie it up. It goes to overtime. The only way I can lose is a touchdown in overtime, and they punt to Tamarick Vanover. You remember the kid?
I do remember.
And he took it to the house, and I was living in the fraternity house, and I had like this RCA remote, and I threw it against those brick walls. It exploded.
Yeah.
Busted my remote twice that year. But that was a bad loss.
So you lost
communal
both.
remote.
I lost both. Yeah, because that was the point. I had San Diego and the under with him taking it back to the house. It put it not only KC covering, it also went over.
But a field goal, which back then was common.
I hit both sides.
You hit both sides.
Both sides.
Well, they call it a gamble, right?
Because back then, field goals is what you played for, because that didn't give the other team the ball. You just played for a field goal if you won the toss, and you were very conservative, and boom.
You know, I went to a couple of like deep financial stories. So a really good friend of ours who does really well now, he bought his wife's engagement ring with a Boomer Esiason tipped pass at the end of the game that scored. That was what actually got him enough cash to buy the engagement ring. And then the only way I was able to go to California was USC had to cover against Northwestern in the Rose Bowl. I put everything I had, and I wouldn't have been able to go to California.
When you say go to California, you mean you
to
moved out there.
Yeah. So it was either
not a vacation.
I'm staying in Birmingham getting a job, or I'm actually going to chase my dream of acting in California. And in retrospect, it wouldn't have mattered. But I had everything on the line. I had USC. I think they were laying 4.5, and they were playing Northwestern. Northwestern had covered every game. They were 12-0 against the number that year. And Northwestern missed a field goal late that would have actually covered for Northwestern.
We're going to LA.
Yep. And that was it. And I was able to go.
Wow.
It's a true story.
That's pretty incredible. I've heard that story of you going to LA a lot. I never heard that part of it.
Keyshawn Johnson had a big touchdown in that game, and it was Northwestern. I mean, pretty good USC team against a Northwestern team that legitimately was 12-0. So
Best team they've ever had.
Did you, for the roommate back then, who later became your wife, did you have to convince her that I'm going to put all this money on this, and if we get it, we're going to LA? If not,
you know, I don't remember. I don't think she ever wanted to go to LA.
Right.
So I don't know if I told her the circumstances, because I know she would have been pulling for Northwestern. Yeah.
Very, very Maggie-like.
Hey, real quick, tell them about, we got about 15 minutes left here, so it's a good time to tell them where we are.
Yeah, we're at Maserati and Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. Stop in if you've never been by before. If you're in the market for new or used, Bo O'Neill and the great staff here, they can hook you up. We're located right off of 459, the Grants Mill exit. Come in. 1.9% financing on all new 2022 Maseratis, including the Ghiblis, the Levantes, also the Alfa Romeos. You can check out the Giulias, the Stelvios. They've got them right now in stock with 1.9% financing, and also the high-end pre-owned selection from the Porsches, the Mercedes, Lexus, Range Rovers, Audis, and more. Stop in, see Bo and the great staff here, Alfa Romeo and Maserati of Birmingham.
I would tell you, just come out here if you're a car person, just to see the cars out here. They have some,
and we got tickets we're giving away, right?
Yeah. Oh, we got to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But the cars that they just have in the showroom and on the lot here, Maseratis and Alfa Romeos, it's worth to come out here, and you may not know what you fall in love with until you see it.
So this staff is so awesome. Little Jack, I mean, you know, he's now 14. I call him little man, and people are like, the kid's almost 6 feet tall. But, you know, we started coming out here about 5 or 6 years ago every Saturday morning, at least every third Saturday morning. And Bo and the guys would let him get in the car and crank some of these up. And, you know, it's so exciting for him because he loves these high-end, really cool cars. And him and his buddies would come out here. And so we still do. He asked me a couple of weeks ago, when's the next time we're coming out? So that's why I'm taking him the Maserati hoodie. But really, it's just a cool place to come.
All right. If each of us went back in time, Andrew asked on YouTube.
Should we do the Legion thing first, Brandy?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right.
How you going to do it?
I say we do it on Twitter. What do you say?
It's fine with me.
All right.
At Jim Dunaway or at Next Round Live?
We'll do it at Next Round Live. At Next Round Live. And we will give you until the top of the hour, until 4 o'clock. We've got a pair of VIP tickets to the opener.
They're in that club section. You and I sat in there for the friendly against Atlanta.
Yep. So we got the VIP tickets, 2 of them. So 1 pair, and we're going to give it to 1 winner. And you've got to tweet us right now at Next Round Live and go hashtag Alfa Romeo, ALFAROMEO. Hashtag Alfa Romeo, ALFAROMEO. And if you do that before 4 o'clock, we'll cut it off at 4 o'clock, and all the people that send in the hashtag, you'll be in the running. And tomorrow during the show, we'll draw out a winner and give away a pair of tickets, VIP tickets, not just a pair of tickets, to go watch the Birmingham Legion at Protective Stadium as the season opens up March 13th, 4 o'clock. Extended weather forecast looks good at new Protective Stadium, and they're battling Tampa Bay. Rockstar, they don't like Tampa Bay. They've knocked them out of the playoffs the last couple of years.
Big rivalry.
BHMLegion.com for tickets. BHMLegion.com for tickets. Tickets start at $7 if you don't win, but VIP tickets, man, right now at Next Round Live, and you can hit us up, hashtag Alfa Romeo, and we'll pick a winner tomorrow during the show.
I just got this text from the roommate. Pretty funny. I was just checking this. She said Maggie sticks up for the roommate more than the landlord does. And she also said, she goes, I sent that to my mom trying to text you.
Oh,
She did not.
Love it.
She did not.
Love it. All right. We got 10 minutes to go, so we'll try to burn through these. We got some good questions here.
9 minutes over here on this.
Andrew on YouTube says, if you went back in time, what would you tell your past self to make launching our new format easier?
Do you think we bought any extra equipment? Because I'm amazed at, for those that don't know, we left on June 16th, and by August 16th, we were live on the air.
But we didn't even have possession of our studio until August 3rd to do any sort of building.
But we started planning it out on June 17th, and with the supply chain and everything, to order all the equipment, get that hooked up, wired up, and ready to go. Most of that was Brown ordering it in.
I made one mistake there.
Did we order too much?
No, we didn't. Well, yeah, in some cases we ordered from the wrong place. That was the mistake we made. There's one guy that we use now that I would have used from the beginning, and it would have been much easier. That's the mistake I made.
We'd have just told him what we wanted and let him order.
Yep. And he's our guy now, and he has taken great care of us, and I wish we'd have used him from day one. That would be my mistake.
So if our landlords ever at Blue Lakes, which hasn't happened yet, we love it, but if it ever goes south and we have to pick up and move again,
that's our guy.
That's our guy.
Yep.
Okay.
I can't think of anything as far as our new venture that I would have done differently. You, Rocky?
No.
I mean, the timeline was just, sometimes it's a blessing to be so rushed where you don't have time to think.
Yeah.
If you had 2 years to prep for it, do you think it would have been easier? No,
not at all.
So it's just, when it's crunch time, I think we have to have, when you're given a deadline, everybody has to be pushing so much. So I think that was more of a good thing, I think.
And I think it worked out perfect too. June 16th to August 16th, there's not really a whole lot going on then that we didn't miss. We dropped in SEC Media Days to give a little bit of coverage there with a nice format that we all loved, and that may be the way we attack SEC Media Days this year, exactly like that. It'll be interesting on how we do that, but we loved it this past year that way. And then we started back August 16th. Once we're on the air, we're rolling into football season. That felt good. And I mean, we were just blessed along the way to have people that were nice to us, that were willing to be putting in the electronics while they're building the walls and laying down the carpet. Usually crews don't work over each other like that. They did. And little blessings like, Nancy, Rockstar's wife, comes in one day and we're in a conference room and just amazed that she even wants to come talk to us, but she is a major in marketing, right? She's worked in it.
Graphic design.
And she came in one day and I'll be honest, I told Rockstar this, that I was not looking forward to the meeting at all.
I don't think anybody was.
And so she started, and what'd she say, 5 points?
5 points.
Yeah.
I got 5 points to get to. And, when you tell a group of guys 5 points, it's like a sermon.
The phones come out.
It's like a sermon on a Sunday. But I promised myself I'm going to be engaged because you didn't know what you're going to get from the rest of the guys. And then, so I'm going to, nod and say, a lot.
That is interesting.
And then the first one took forever. And I was like, oh my God, if each point is this long, we're going to be here until sunset. But when she got to the fifth one, she threw up. I think you should call the show The Next Round.
No, she didn't.
She said
the point was blow holes.
Right.
She wanted to throw a name out and let us blow holes in it. And by blowing holes in it, we can come up with our own name. And she threw it up. And Lance, Dunaway says it was him. I remember it being Lance.
I do not say it was me.
Yeah, you've Dunaway. You've done that.
I was second.
Okay. Lance goes, I don't hate it. And then like everybody else at the table was like, no, I actually like it.
Yeah.
And we were all like, this is the name. And she says, no. You're supposed to blow holes in it. No, we like it.
Well, just to give you behind the scenes on our way home that night, she said that, I knew that was going to be the name. I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, you don't want to be somebody that pushes your ideas on somebody. So I give you the name that I think was going to be, and I give you an opportunity to blow holes in it. Say like, well, it doesn't work because of this. But she said the whole time I knew in my mind that should have been the name, but I was going to leave it completely up to you guys.
I thought about it not long ago, and how I think we all did this just on idle time, whether you're driving in the car, you're in the shower, you're having dinner. And it was one of our most difficult challenges was coming up with a name because the name is so important.
Oh yeah.
And when we came to that meeting, we had no name.
No,
There
we
was
hated
we,
all
we,
of them.
we had no working name that we were going to go
And
with.
when I look back on it, I'm like, that was such a simple name to come up with, but
Yep.
none of us could. So it was the perfect name. So the more we processed it, it was the only name that made sense.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the name.
I do too.
And we literally came to that meeting with no name for the show.
But she, you know, to Rockstar's point that we were up against it as far as you know, the time to be going August 16th. We had to get a website, we had to get a logo, and we had to do all of that, an LLC, all that, and we're sitting here going, well, we got to get a name. And remember, there were every time we do a meeting, there was like, well, we can't do that until we get a name. We can't get the website. We can't build a website until we get a name. We can't do
buy a domain if we don't have a
get an
domain to
app until we
buy.
get a name.
I know, because I remember the day we were in our agent's office, which is downtown, all four of us in there, and on the whiteboard, we had, how many names do you think we had written up there? If somebody would throw a name out, we'd write it on the board.
And none of them was good.
Hated all of them.
Yeah,
all
they were
of them.
terrible.
Hated all of them. I even hated the ones I threw up.
I know. I mean, we were
I
throwing.
say it out loud.
Did
hated
anybody take a picture of that? Because I'd love to go back through some of the names.
I've
Okay, good.
got the photo. Yep. I'll see.
Should we save it for the history of the show?
Yeah, let's save it for the history of the show. But I did take a picture of it that day. I remember.
Oh, that's
that.
a whole segment of the history of the show. We were almost
3 and out.
We were almost 3
No,
and
that
out.
was
at
one of
point.
the ones that was on the board.
We were almost 3
We
and
just
out.
turned it into a segment.
I've got one picture from the office. I can't pull it up fast enough, but I took a screenshot. Remember, we were in a meeting with some people when we first told people that we were leaving, and we were on a call, and the calls it froze.
Yes, I do remember that. You've got that photo still.
I've got that photo. I'll never delete that photo.
I forgot that froze.
Jimmy Grudge holder.
I'll never delete that photo.
All right,
keep talking.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I was trying to find that photo. Steve asked this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Steve on YouTube. Rockstar, have you ever been to Jazz Fest? If so, what was your favorite act?
I have never been. You're not going to be shocked by this, but I don't like going to music festivals.
And you don't like New Orleans.
Yeah, I just.
Well, that's
it's
two bad
just-
things for Jazz Fest.
I love being on stage and performing. I don't like being in the crowd unless I'm a part where I can move my arms and breathe. I don't like being just so over the top consumed.
What are you laughing at?
Picture to be over the top
wow.
consumed. And I'm in the picture too.
Yep.
What picture is that? Oh, yeah. How about that empty office photo? I'd forgotten I had that one too.
Yeah.
Wow.
June 16th, by the way, on that that timestamp.
But no, I have not. I would love to. I saw that Pearl Jam played there one year. I don't like going to festivals. Like a nightmare for me is Bonnaroo. That just looks like a nightmare for me.
Oh, remember this for tomorrow. Jim, or JM on YouTube says, fun fact about Adam Richmond, he can remember and repeat every intro from every episode of Man vs. Food. It's ridiculously impressive.
He cannot.
Well, we'll see tomorrow. 10, what time?
10:25.
10:25. That's right.
I bet you can remember and repeat the ending of every show we've done.
A little bit of it. I know one thing is that I never make it sound like I've thought about what I'm going to say right out of the gate of the show ever anymore.
He got
That's
Yeah,
one
boy,
thing.
he did not like
he was
that.
dodging those
Yeah.
those missed 3-pointers, wasn't he?
And I
Whoa,
really,
what was that?
I don't
Whoa.
remember, but I was like, I did not even really think of it in advance, but everybody accused me of it.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
what was it?
It was the game where Alabama missed like 56
Oh,
3-pointers, and so he
yes.
just
Uh-oh.
right when the opening, he's like, "Oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another miss."
yeah, oh, you worked on that one for all weekend, didn't you? I was like, well, actually, no, I just thought of
And the mood went from here to
it.
here.
Yeah.
Kevin
It only bothered
asked-
me for 2 days.
Kevin asked on YouTube, serious question. How much money would it take for you to be the actor in Ozark that has to make out with Darnell Snell? Or Darlene Snell, excuse me.
I think I'd rather do Jason Bateman.
He is good looking. He doesn't age.
I mean,
Um,
95% of the time they're not using tongue, and you're using a lot of breath mint. I mean, you get that recurring role. I would
But
do
the
it.
actor she's making out with isn't much of a catch either.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think Wyatt made per episode?
Oh, I don't know.
But truthfully,
Wyatt's
she's a
probably-
nice woman.
Oh, she's a super nice one. She's
Yeah.
been on the show before.
Because he made it to the 4th season, he's probably making $50,000 an episode. No, maybe not that much.
Not
maybe
anymore.
35,000 an episode.
Not anymore, unless there's flashbacks.
Hey, and for her age,
I know.
Nice
Spoiler
body,
alert.
relatively body.
We did a whole
relatively body.
podcast.
Yeah, I'll reserve because she was nice enough to come on with us.
She is a nice lady, but they made it a purpose to make her as unfortunate looking as possible.
Yeah.
Sam,
You lay in the bathtub for a couple of days. We'll get you out when we're ready to shoot.
Okay.
We're running short on time here. Sam on YouTube. Have you ever talked about the worst landmine ever? I assumed it was Chris Benoit.
That is one that we can't talk about.
Have we ever even
No,
have we ever hinted at that? How did he know?
Because you guys had him on the show. Quick timeline.
yeah.
I mean, that was
That's a-
forever ago.
That was a quick ass time.
Yeah, yes, I will.
Yep.
Literally the next day.
I think Chris and I are going to be friends.
I think it was
That kid's going places.
Really nice guy, man. Nicest
I
guy.
think it was that night, Brown.
It was shortly thereafter. Shortly thereafter.
Was he texting a lot during the interview?
No, he literally could not have been nicer.
Yeah.
Could not
And
have been
raved
nicer.
about his family.
Yep. Chris, as you said, ask anything. With the setup you're using, if you play audio from Ryan's computer, will we hear it through the Rodecaster Pro? You will not. You literally asked. We said anything. I hadn't even read this whole thing.
Who said? How does he know we have a Rodecaster Pro?
I don't know. I guess he identified it on site. Eli says this is embarrassing, but the last night at the Hump felt like a Final Four game with fan bases almost evenly matched in attendance. Extremely loud. It was awesome. He's a State fan.
Is that Chris?
That was Eli.
Eli. Chris, one of our Auburn fans listeners, was there last night. Said it was a good atmosphere. All the Auburn fans there.
Yep. Favorite Brandon says favorite round table / next round game of all time. His is Jim or Not.
I used to love Jim or Not. I don't know if I'm a quick-witted now. My favorite one was always Less or Not. We did that for a while. I enjoyed that.
You mean greater than or less than?
No. Less miles or not.
Les Miles
yeah.
quotes.
Yeah,
when
that was
he
our friend
coaching.
Harry Long.
That
Put
was
that
good.
together.
I used to love it when we could play music and Rockstar would play. Didn't you? You would play one song. We'd have to guess what the next song was going to be.
Two for Tuesday. That was my
Yeah.
favorite one. Rockstar hated it. It was my
I
favorite.
didn't hate it. It's just when you start running out of stuff. If I did Aerosmith Crying and I did Aerosmith Sweet Emotion, well, that's not fair. I mean, nobody knows Sweet Emotion. Like, what's going on?
My favorite part of it though is Dunaway not knowing anybody's song.
Oh, this is the best Huey Lewis news. This is the best. This is the news.
This is Huey Lewis, right? It's the Beatles, Jim. Oh, okay.
He was always Googling, remember?
Yeah, I was trying to guess the second one.
Yep. Riley says, as we wrap up here, one more hour. Can't do it, Riley. Sorry. We've got places to be. Dunaway's got a charity event tonight.
I'm good for an hour though. I can go to 5.
I
Nope,
can't.
I can't.
I
cannot
got
do
sound
it.
check, man.
Oh, yeah. Rockstar's got a show,
I
an
gotta go
evening
to
with
makeup.
Rockstar.
I got to figure out
I don't
dinner.
know.
Yeah, I do too. LT. All right. So tell everybody where we are, and we'll put the wraps on this thing.
Yeah, again, if you're in the market right now, if you've thought about Italian luxury before Maserati, Alfa Romeo of Birmingham, come see Bo O'Neill and this great staff located conveniently right off of 459, the Grants Mill exit. And right now you get 1.9% financing on all new 2022 Maseratis and Alfa Romeos. They've also got high-end pre-owned variety from the Porsches to the Mercedes, BMWs, Audis, Land Rovers, and more. It's all out here at Maserati and Alfa Romeo of Birmingham.
Boy, they take care of everything here, boy. It's an awesome place.
They do. All right. So tomorrow's show, we're live at 9, Adam Richmond at 10:25, Andy Kennedy at 12. So we got a fun show tomorrow. We'll see you then. 9 o'clock tomorrow. Rockstar is trying to play bumper music out of here. You just messing around?
It seems like it was reset because my bumper is not on there.
You think Andy?
Well, it's not even turned up. You don't have it turned
I
up.
know. I'm looking at the link.
Oh,
A- Andy will come into studio one day, right?
I would hope.
Yeah, he likes
Probably
cold
after
beer.
the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
He likes cold beer.
Yeah. We'll get Andy in there. Talk some NCAA tournament with him or something like that. All right. Thanks for joining us. Come see us here at Alfa Romeo Maserati of Birmingham, 459 Grants Mill exit. Till then, we'll see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Don't forget, what do they need to do to get these Legion VIP passes?
Well, at 4 o'clock, we've already passed it. So
All right. So if you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
You're out of the running. We'll announce a winner tomorrow.
All right. Talk to you then.